Hello and good evening. My name is Bill Baxter, DTM. I am a member of Toastmasters International, and DTM stands for Distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest achievement level. This is Web Speech Platform, one of my podcasts on Frontier Web Singer, where I do a lot of interpretive readings and speeches. In tonight's interpretive reading is from part one of my Self-Advocate Diaries, which is published in my book, Web Files, the deluxe edition. And the title is Realities of Being a Self-Advocate, Part 1. First, I would like to say what isn't realistic in the self-advocacy movement and the various programs provided in the community. People with IDD, that stands for Intellectual Developmental Disability, who are part of the self-advocate movement in America, are sometimes told they can be totally independent without family and loved ones nearby to keep an eye on them and help them where needed. This is not only unrealistic, it is completely false. I did live on my own in Old Town Orange, California from summer of 1989 to the fall of 2001. Just before the attack on the Twin Towers in New York and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. I had a very well paying full time job and lived comfortably. However, I was not totally independent by any definition of the word. There was always family, namely my mother and father, nearby keeping an eye on me and helping me whenever I needed it. Some people with disabilities will say, I don't have an ability. I don't have a disability. I have an ability. I'm sorry, but that is complete bull. That also isn't realistic. A disability is just what the word says it is, and that is opposite of ability. Having disabilities means having limitations and needing help and assistance from family, friends, and social workers from time to time. I attended an SFO conference speaking for ourselves at the Antlers Hotel in downtown Colorado Springs in fall of 2016 with people who have disabilities and are self-advocates. I heard a lot of things, much like I described above. A lot of the self-advocates were from the Boulder area. Finally, in a room with hundreds of advocates, I had an opportunity to get up and speak my piece. Basically, I said, having disabilities means just what the term says. They are limitations which we have that others don't. And we need to accept these limitations. The key to a person with disabilities living a happy and productive life is accepting these limitations, but not letting them defeat us in life, but still strive to be all what we can be and what God wants us to be. This is what I have tried to do with my life. I will say this, I will never be totally independent, and I will always need family, friends, and social workers. If it weren't for them, I'd be dead, as some of you know. So, why am I a supporter of the self advocacy movement? Where does self advocacy fit in? Why is self advocacy needed? I belong to a minority group in America, which is number one, that is, as being victims of prejudice go. Having disabilities means having limitations, but at the same time, it doesn't mean a person with disabilities can't do anything. If a person with a disability wants to achieve something, such as a college degree, excelling in music, art, or public speaking, and he is confident he can achieve these goals, then that person should be allowed to try. My high school advisors told my mother and I that I could never go to college. They tried to get my mother to discourage me from going to college and taking vocational rehab instead. My mother told them, I will not. If my son wants to try and thinks he can do it, I am going to let him try. And some of you know I graduated from California State University, East Bay, on August 31st, 1979. When someone tells an individual with IDD that he or she can't go to college, can't excel in music, art, etc., because it's not fitting for him or her, that often stems from prejudice. And I've had a lot of that in my life. Only the individual with a specific disability can really be the judge of what he can achieve and not achieve, and often needs to speak up. That is where self advocacy comes in. And that's the end of part one of my Self Advocate Diaries. I will be back with 2, 3, and 4 in the future. Meanwhile, you have a good evening. I'm Bill Baxter. This is Web Speech Platform. Good night now.